Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryechu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Atmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyoma Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha. Om Sahana Vavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Klishtakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipaya Namvyasam Sarvalokahite Radam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetrarana Pada Baho Sahasranamam Stavanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste once again, all of you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. So we are seeing.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. We are.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. Namaste. So we are seeing the meaning of the second shloka, if I am not wrong, isn't it? Which is the shloka we are seeing the meaning of? No, first shloka.
Bhutakrit.
Yeah, Bhutakrit we have to do. We did up to Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat. Yes, that we have done in the last class. Okay. Prabhu means what? The Lord of Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat. Bhuta is past, Bhavya is future, Bhavat is present. So it's the Lord of all three periods of time. Time exists within him. He is not within time. That's why he is a Lord. He is beyond time. Kalatita. So that is how we have to understand that he is a Lord. Even before time came into existence, he was there. So that is why he is the creator of time itself. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu. Then the next word is Bhuta Brit, next Nama. Sorry, Bhuta Krit, not Bhuta. Bhuta Krit. Bhuta Krit, Adi Shankara takes two meaning. Even though literally the word Krit means the creator, the one who has done, but Adi Shankara brings the meaning of a destroyer also in this. So he gives both meanings. So we can take the meaning, the creator as well as the destroyer of all beings. Means what? The one who transforms this entire creation from an unmanifest state to a manifest state. And then at the end of that creation, when the time period is over, he again transform the creation from a manifest state to an unmanifest state. So as such, whenever we talk of creation, we cannot talk of something new being done. Creation is always, a change of a status from unmanifest to manifest. And there is nothing called destruction. Nothing gets destroyed. Even science also says that, isn't it? Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. Same thing we have, our scriptures say. So this creation and destruction and all, we must understand in the correct context. Okay. So he says that Bhutakrit, Rajogunam Samashritya, Virinchi Rupena Bhutani Karoti iti Bhutakrit. So our scriptures say that the creator is Brahmaji, that four-headed Brahmaji is the creator. And he is also called Virinchi. There is another name for Brahmaji is Virinchi. So what he is saying is Virinchi Rupena, in the form of Brahmaji, Rajogunam Samashritya, because for creation you require action, and action comes from Rajoguna. As we all know, I think we have seen earlier also the three gunas which are there predominant in this entire creation, and the three gunas which are predominant, which are there in each being also. There is a Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, and Tamo Guna. These three gunas are predominant gunas in the creation. And for each activity of the creation, each of these gunas take predominance over the other two. Tattva Bodha students, we have seen this in detail. So, Rajo Guna Samashritya means having or using the Rajo Guna of Maya. Ishvara has created this world by taking the form of Brahmaji. Virinchi Rupena. Okay. Bhutani Karoti, created this world. That is what Adi Shankara says. So as Brahmaji taking recourse to Rajoguna, he creates all beings, this entire world, this whole cosmos is created by him. And the first to be created are the five gross elements, which are the space, air, fire, water, and earth. Akasha, Vayuhu, Agnihi, Apaha, and Prithvi. These are the first to be created. Subtle elements rather. Of course, I don't want to go into detail, subtle elements, gross elements, and all. People who are not exposed to Tattva Bodha will get confused. So let us say all these five elements are created. Okay. And we must remember, whenever we are talking about the world, it includes our mind, our body, mind, sense complex also. That is also a part of this whole creation of this world only. We have not jumped from somewhere separately. Okay. So the elements, the elementals, everything which is there in this world is born out of that Ishvara, that Brahman. And by taking recourse to the Maya Shakti, each power of Maya. So he is the efficient cause of creation. He blesses this entire creation, and because of this, the whole creation comes alive. So this whole creation basically is inert. It is the consciousness which gives sentience to this whole creation. All movements, everything that takes place in this creation, all actions take place. The sun is able to shine, give light and heat because of the consciousness. Otherwise, sun is just a body, inert. It can't do anything on its own. Okay. Then Adi Shankara says, Tamo gunamastaya sa rudratmana bhutani krintati krinoti hinasti iti bhutakrit. So it's the second meaning he brings in for bhutakrit. Taking recourse to tamo guna, he as if destroys this entire world. As I told you, destroy means taking recourse to tamo guna, he converts this whole manifest world into an unmanifest world. from the tree form, it goes back into the seed form. That is what he does. So whenever we are taking the nama as Bhutakrit, we must bring both the meanings in our mind. As the creator as well as the destroyer, as if destroyer, as though destroyer. There is no real destruction. Okay. And that he does in the form of Rudra. That is why in the Puranas and all, we have seen the creator is Brahmaji, the sustainer is Vishnuji, and the destroyer is Shiva or Rudra. This is what at the Purana level, the story is told. But what is this? This creation, sustenance, and destruction are nothing but representative of three gunas of Maya. So at a higher level, we actually forget we ignore the form and also the name and only remember the attribute. So tamo guna means what? Inertia. That is tamo guna. And each one of us has got all the three gunas. In fact, we are all born with predominance of tamo guna only. At the time of birth, tamo guna is the most predominant. Why? Because in the whole unmanifest state is tamo guna only. It is a sleep state, deep sleep state. So we are all born with tamo guna. As we start growing, rajo guna starts developing, and that is when the child starts crawling, trying to walk on its knees, trying to stand up with holding on to things. Rajo guna develops. For these two are natural. There is a little bit of sattva guna which starts manifesting because the intellect develops, thinking capacity develops. The sattva guna starts manifesting, and that is how we learn. We get educated. All the learning is all vidya is to do with sattva guna. So these three gunas are there in every human being. Now what happens is, if we continue to live our life in the same level with which we are born, tamo guna will keep on being the dominant guna in us, and we will be, sort of very lazy people, always trying to sleep, not doing anything, postponing, procrastination. All these are all tamo gunas, indications. Rajo guna indication is that very active. The person, he can't sit even for a moment without doing something. That is Rajo guna. Sattva guna is the personality which reveals the spiritual side of the human being. And that is done through gaining knowledge of the scriptures, knowledge of the self eventually. Atma Jnana. So whenever we live our life with full knowledge and consciousness, our aim should be to evolve from tamo guna into rajo guna, and from rajo guna to sattva guna predominant personality. And when you reach the highest levels of sattva guna, even rajo guna gets, subdued. Only that much rajo guna a person will use. Jnanis, for example, what is required for the maintenance of their body? They will not indulge in unnecessary activities. They will get rid of them. But it is important to note that all the three gunas are required. If we don't have tamo guna, we won't be able to sleep. Tamoguna is necessary to some extent. Everything, is required. Rajoguna is required to some extent for us to carry out our day-to-day activities. To brush our teeth, to bath, to get up from the bed is also Rajoguna. You require that Rajoguna rather. So, but in the spiritual path, the attempt always is to make the Sattva Guna most predominant, so that your focus is always on the Sattva Guna, on learning, realizing, and what we call self-realization, you can say, getting this knowledge of Vedanta. So this is how we have to understand about the Guna. So Ishvara, or taking recourse to the Tamo Guna of Maya, he as if destroys the world, as though destroys the world, converts it from manifest to unmanifest condition. And now the next word indicates why Adi Shankara brought that Bhutakrit, that is destroyer meaning in Bhutakrit. Because in Vishnu Sahasranama there are two words, Bhutakrit and Bhutabhrit. The Bhutabhrit, which is the next word, means sustainer of this world. Bhutakrit is creator of this world. But there is no Nama which says that he is the destroyer of the world. But all three are functions of Ishvara: creation, sustenance, and destroyer. So since Vishnu Sahasranama does not have a Nama which indicates that he is also the destroyer, Adi Shankara brings that meaning in Bhutakrit itself. That is why he does that. That we must remember, Adi Shankara is Adi Shankara. He wants to cover the whole thing, but he will use what is available, the instruments which are available, to give all the meanings. So, Bhutabhrit, Sattva Gunam Adhisthaya, Bhutani Bibarti, Palayati, Dharayati, Poshayati, Va, iti Bhutabhrit. It's a beautiful explanation. He gives what is sustenance means. Right? First of all, taking recourse to the Sattva Guna for sustenance. Because for sustaining something, you require the knowledge to sustain it, isn't it? If you want to drive a car, you must have the knowledge to drive the car. Rajoguna can give you the urge to drive the car, but unless you have the knowledge, you will sit on the steering wheel, and then you know what will happen. I don't need to tell you. So everything that happens in the form of sustenance is all driven by knowledge. Exactly how this entire cosmos should function, when the range should come, all driven by the knowledge of the astronomical, order. So that knowledge, taking recourse to that knowledge, Ishvara sustains this whole world and all beings, right? So he says, Bibarti, Palayati, he, what you can say, he protects the world, this entire world. Dharayati, supports all the activities. Poshayati, nourishes this entire world. So he uses so many. So what is sustenance means all these letters, all these meanings which I said: Vibharti, Palayati, Dharayati, Poshayati. This is what Ishvara does. So he nourishes this world and keeps it going. Being the material cause, he is in the form of this world itself. And he sustains this world. As we have seen, as a material cause, every material matter is a form of Ishvara only. And that is why we have got so many forms, 33 crores or something, Devatas are all out there. Every power which is there in the universe represents for us a Devata. Devata is not a god. If we have, in fact, many people have no understanding of our religion at all. And they just go on criticizing and so saying so many things. Total ignorance. Whenever we are saying a Devata or a god, we are referring to a power. When we are referring to Brahmaji, we are referring to what? Creative power. When we are referring to Vishnu, what we are referring to? The sustaining power. And when we are talking about Rudra, Shiva, we are referring to the power of destruction. That is, unless there is destroyer, there cannot be a creation. With every destruction is a precursor to a new creation. The leaves from a tree will have to fall, dry it, and then dry up for new leaves to come. If the tree doesn't shed the leaves at all, there will be hardly very few new leaves coming in the tree. But that process is necessary. Destruction is necessary. If nobody dies in this world, the corollary will be nobody will be born also. So death is necessary for birth, not at the individual level, at the cosmic level also. Something has to make way for new things to come. And as I said, death is not death. It is just the same thing gets into unmanifest form and then becomes manifest again. So that's how we have to understand as Bhuta Britra. Then Bhavaha. Bhavaha means literally existence, right? The Bhashikara says, Prapancha Rupena Bhavati iti Kevalam Bhaviti ityeva Bhavaha. Bhavanam Bhavaha Satatmako Va. So he is just explaining the same existence to be. Bhudatu, Asdhatu, all these dhatus are there in Sanskrit language. So he uses that. So the word bhava itself is derived from Bhudatu. Bhu Sattayam. Sattayam means to exist. Okay. So the Lord being the material cause, Prapancha Rupena Bhavati. All matter is only the Lord rather. He exists in the form of all matter. And that is why, our religion, our culture is a reverential culture. We see the Lord in everything around us. Even a piece of paper, a piece of newspaper lying on the floor. Suppose by chance our feet touches that. We will, according to our culture, I am talking about unadulterated culture, a culture not adulterated by these Western ideologies and, which has been imposed on the people's mind and they have been brainwashed. I am talking about the original Sanatana Dharma culture. It's a reverential culture because everything we consider as Ishvara only, everything is God only. We will never ever show any, attitude of indifference to anything, whether it is human being or even small insects and everything. Even inanimate things rather. We will show a lot of respect, lot of reverence. So that is the culture. Why? What is the background of that? Because this bhava hai, we see everything as the Lord only. And the Lord is someone to be revered, to be respected. So we respect everything as the Lord. Okay. Prapancha Rupena Bhavati. So he exists in the form of the world and hence he is Bhavaha. And then Adi Shankara then further qualifies Kevalam Bhavati. Now he brings in the Vedantic meaning, pure existence. He is in the form. Whenever we are saying is, it represents that conscious existence, consciousness, the Sat Bhava. So that is what he is saying, that he is of the nature of pure existence. Kevalam Bhavati. Right. Sattatmakaha. Of the nature of pure existence. That is what is Bhavaha. It is not an existence which is subject to change. This is the essence of everything, all beings. At the material level, it is Lord, who is, in the form of all matter and using the three Shaktis. Maya Shakti, he being the material cause, he becomes the matter. But being the efficient cause, being the what I say, essence of everything that is there, he is Bhavaha. He is to be recognized as pure existence and pure consciousness. And because of this, Prapancha is so vast. You don't know which is the end of this entire cosmos. Is limitless also. His sovereignty exists limitlessly. We don't know. We can't even imagine that. Mathematically also very difficult to calculate which is the end of this cosmos. So everything changes because of him, but he himself is changeless. That is the meaning. So he is Sachidananda Swarupaha, the consciousness which is in everything, which is limitless. This is the meaning of Bhavaha. Then the next one is Bhutatma. Bhutatma means he is the Atma, the inner essence of all beings. That is what is coming. He is a Bhutanam Antaryami iti Bhutatma, says Adi Shankara. Okay. He is in the form of all Bhutas. He is the Atma, the indweller, the Swarupa, the inner essence, the unchanged, non-changing inner essence of all the beings. He is the Adhishthanam of all the Bhutas. Without him, without that Lord in the form of this inner essence, all Bhutas will be only inert matter. It is he who gives sentiency to all the Bhutas, all elements and elementals. And he is the truth of the entire world. He is the only truth. Everything else is mithya. He is the only satyam. And he is Antaryami, as I told you, indweller of all beings. So this is the meaning of Bhutatma. So then Bhuta Bhavana. Again, it's the same idea gets repeated with different words. So that is why Adi Shankara in the beginning itself, while introducing, he said that this should not be taken as a Punarakti dosha. As I explained to you, this Punarukti is repeating the same idea again and again is considered to be a defect in any scriptural literature. But here we are coming across many ideas or many names which convey the same meaning, which has already been conveyed by some other name. So Adi Shankara explained that that is not to be considered as a defect, because even though the idea is the same, the words which are used are not the same. They are different words which are used, different names are used. And so the idea is to reinforce something which already has been told, these are repeated again. So it should not be taken as a defect. That's what Adi Shankara said. If you remember, before we started seeing the names, there was an introductory, bhashyam Adi Shankara gave, which I explained to you. So there he has actually covered this portion. Otherwise, people will say there is all the same idea is being repeated. So here he says Bhuta Bhavana. So here Adi Shankara takes a little bit, a shade of different meaning. Bhutani bhavayati, janayati vardhayati iti va bhuta bhavana. So what he says is that here earlier it was talked about he is the creator. But before creation, he must have a blueprint. Isn't it? Any architect, when he is going to create a huge multi-story building, first he will have a drawing on paper to know exactly all the dimensions, everything of this building. Similarly, when we say the Lord is a creator, then we should imagine that for any creation, there needs to be some thinking how this creation should be. So that is why he says Bhutani bhavayati. So he visualizes this creation. This is how I am going to create before actually creating. So this is the subtle difference in the meaning Adi Shankara brings in this Bhuta Bhavana. Otherwise, literally, if you take Bhuta Bhavana, means the one who is created, who makes everything exist. Bhuta Bhavana, all beings exist is Bhuta Bhavana. But Adi Shankara gives this meaning. Even before creation, he visualizes what this creation is. So that is what is Bhutani Bhavayati. Then after that, Janayati creates, Vardhayati grows the creation. So all these meanings he brings into this word Bhuta Bhavana. So as I told, he is the only created, and because of that, he is the first person, so he can only be the architect. He cannot appoint an architect, okay, give me a blueprint for my creation. So he is Bhagavan, he is the Karta, the doer. Who is the Karayita? Karayita is also Karayita means the one who makes somebody work. Karta is the one who works or who does something. Karayita is someone who makes that person do. Okay. So, if there was a Karayita other than the Lord, then that person will become Bhagavan, isn't it? He will become the Lord of this Lord. So that will be the ultimate Lord. So there is no other Karayita. He himself is the Karta, he is the Karayita also. He has visualizes this creation and then he creates also as per his visualization. In fact, in Taittiriya Upanishad says he takes a sankalpa that I will make this creation and then he created. Like that it says. Okay. Or we can also say that little differently, he is the Karayita and then the creation job he has delegated to Brahmaji. The four-headed Brahmaji. He created. So that interpretation also we can take. So Brahman is the Karayita, Brahmaji is the Karta. That way also we can take this Bhuta Bhavana. Okay. So he is like a supervisor being supervised. So Brahmaji also works under his command only, under his lordship only of Brahman, the lordship of Brahman. Okay. Because Puja Swamiji says some people create things, but they cannot maintain it. They cannot take care of it. There are others who can take care of things, but they cannot create things. Okay. Some people are very good in initiating a project, Swamiji says, Aramba Shuraha. Any new proposal you give to them, they will be very enthusiastic in the initial stage. After some time, all enthusiasm will die down. That's what Aramba Shura. They act as if they are Shuras in the beginning. Then finished later on, no Shuratara. But what is created, there are some people who are very good in running things. Maintaining and running the things like a factory and all that. But they don't have the idea how to create this whole thing. They cannot initiate the projects. And there are other people having created, they don't know how to close a project also. This typically we find in this building contractors, the internal, what they do, the interiors. If you have the experience of getting done in India, I'm not talking about overseas. In India, if you have the experience of appointing an interior for doing up some interior work in your house, once that fellow enters your house, it's a great task to drive him away. He will go on doing. He doesn't know how to finish his job. He will find some new things to continue doing. So there are people who know to create but not to maintain. There are people who know how to maintain but not create. Then there are people who can create and maintain, but they don't know how to wind it up, how to close the project. They don't know, right? So all these kind of people we see. And we have seen Puja Swamiji's words. A mother may create a baby, but she doesn't know how to take care of it. So she requires a babysitter to take care of the baby, right? But what is Bhagavan? He is Bhutani Bhavayati Janayati. Visualizes the project of this creation. He makes this creation also. And as we have seen, Bhutakrit, the meaning we have seen, he knows how to end this creation also. So all three, that is why he is Bhagavan. All three are put in him. And that is withdraws the creation at the right time, at the end of that period, this creation. And how every creation ends, if you see, every cycle, every yuga, if you see, Bhagavan has created this entire world, this cosmos, for sustenance of dharma. Right? He wants the dharmic values to be upheld. And that is why all the scriptures he has given the full, I would say, roadmap to lead a dharmic life. And in the very high hopes that I need some agents who will actually sustain this dharma on this earth, in this creation, take care of everything in a dharmic way, he created human beings. And because these human beings should not be programmed, because they should use their intellect, their imagination to sustain everything, because with changing times, circumstances may change. One needs to be very innovative in protecting dharma and then, sustaining the dharma. He gave a free will to the human beings also. He has not given this to any other living being. All others are pre-programmed by Bhagavan. Only human beings he gave this. And what we human beings have done with that free will, we have destroying the creation of Bhagavan, assuming that as if we are the Bhagavan, we started destroying the creation of the Bhagavan. Doing everything in an adharmic way. Troubling the people also who are following dharma. So that is what the human beings do. And when they continue to do that throughout that yuga cycle, what happens? Adharmam goes up and up and up and up, increases. Dharma comes down and down and down. And all those people who are following the dharma, they are in a miserable state and they pray to the Bhagavan. Bhagavan, what is this? Your beautiful creation. This is what is happening around us. You created these human beings with all good intentions, but see what they have done with their own free will. So Bhagavan, please save us, please save us, please save us. And then Bhagavan says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthavanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. This is what Bhagavan says. So what is that, vinashaya dushkritam? In fact, the only way Bhagavan can actually, salvage this dharma is by withdrawing this entire world and creating it again. Continuing with the same set, these human beings will become worse and worse and worse. That is why even when in the end of Dwapara Yuga, Krishna took avatara for what? For this purpose only. Vinashaya dushkritam. All those people who are doing all kinds of adharmas. In fact, if we see the adharmas which are going on in this Kali Yuga, what happened in Dwapara Yuga seems like in Rajinikanth's Bhasha, a jujubi. Nothing. What Duryodhana did, Duryodhanas are saints as compared to what is happening today in Kali Yuga. So what Bhagavan does, Vinashaya dushkrita means he just folds up this entire creation. I will make it new again. That is what happens at the end of creation. So this, bhavayati, janayati, bhutani, vardhayati, grows this, all these meanings he brings. So he provides nourishment. So we have seen bhuta krit, bhuta brit, bhuta bhavana. All these three meanings. He initiates this creation, takes care of it, and also withdraws this creation at the right time. And what is the right time? When adharma has become uncontrollable. That is the right time. Okay. So it is just like, Pujya Swamiji gives the example in his book of this joystick, Joystick means, or you can even take a sparkler, which we children, do during Diwali. So when you light the sparkler and then keep rotating it, it will form various designs, right? So that is what his creation is about. It's all Leela of Bhagavan, basically. The whole creation is that, like a sparkler, he waves around and then the whole creation comes into the picture. And when the whirling is stopped, there is only one glowing tip of that sparkler, right? Or the joystick, our what we call agarbatti, right? And that is called samhara. What is left is only that small spark. Brahman only is left. The entire designs, this creation is gone. So what is that? In fact, even Nataraja's this nritya is the same thing. When he is doing Tandavam, this whole creation is there. When it stops, the creation folds up, gets withdrawn. Shiva is there in a meditative form for a period of length of time. Okay. So that's what it is a dance of Parameshwara, Nataraja. When he dances, the whole creation is set in motion. When the dance of Nataraja stops, the creation ends. So it is only withdrawal and not destroyed. That we must remember, and it will manifest again, and this process will go on and on and on. So that creates actually the first sloka. Right? I was thinking it was second. So nine namas we have seen in the first shloka. Now we will move to the second shloka. I will read. Those who have the book, who want to follow, they can read along with me also. It will be a good thing. We are taking some namas of Lord Vishnu. Putatma Paramatma cha Muktanam Paramagatihi Avyayah Purushas Sakshi Kshetranyo Kshara Evacha. So here we have got another 8 names. Putatma, Paramatma, Muktanam Paramagatihi, Avyayah, Purushaha, Sakshi, Kshetranyaha, Aksharaha. So these 8 names are there in this second shloka. Okay. So let us see the meanings. Putatma. Putatma means a pure self. Okay. So Adi Shankara now connects with the previous shloka. He says, Bhutakrit Adibhihi Gunatantratvam Praptam Pradishidyate Putatma iti. Puta Atma Yasya Saha Putatma Karma Dharayo. This is Sanskrit portion. I will not go into that because not many Sanskrit students are there. Even my Sanskrit students, we have not come to Samasa at all. So Karmadhare, Samasa, Bahubrihi and all that, if I tell, nobody will understand anything. But Adi Shankara has added that Putatma word, how it is formed. It's a Bahubrihi Samasa, right? Puta Atma Yasya Saha Putatma. Anyhow, what he's saying, Adi Shankara says that there are 2 reasons for understanding the Parameshwara as the pure self. We have seen pure consciousness, pure existence and limitlessness. That meaning we have seen. He says that after stating that he is a Bhutakrit, the creator, Bhutabhrit, the sustainer of this entire world, there could be a misunderstanding that he is endowed with all the 3 gunas that was talked about earlier. Even though we have been careful in understanding that the 3 gunas belong to Maya and not to Parameshwara, not to Paramatma, but if we do not have that background understanding, there could be a misunderstanding that this Lord Vishnu, Parameshwara we are talking about, is endowed with these 3 gunas, Rajo Guna, Sattva Guna and Tamo Guna. And all the gunas, what they bring impurities, these gunas are all what impurities only. So then there is a possibility, a risk of understanding Parameshwara as an impure personality. So in order to clarify that, he says this Putatma word is used. Because if it is said that, and it is actually an understanding of most people, if Ishvara is manifest in the form of this world, then one can take that all these attributes, qualities which we experience in this world all belong to that Ishvara. So in order to negate that idea, this word Putatma is being used, he says. Okay. So Ishvara, the pure self, the Brahman, Atma, is not tainted by any attributes or any gunas. He is Nirguna, Nirvikara, Nischala, Nirmala. None of these attributes, qualities, impurities can be attributed to Ishvara, Parameshwara. And we know all these gunas, these attributes belong to Maya and not to Brahman. So the Nirgunatvam aspect of Brahman is brought about here in this Nama Bhutatma. So we have to understand. Okay. That is highlighted. Because Ishvara knows he is of the nature of Jnanam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So he is of the nature of knowledge. Embodiment of all knowledge which is there in this world. He knows that even though this world has been created and sustained and all because of his blessings, he himself is an akarta. He is not a doer at all. He himself does not perform any actions. He only blesses all the actions which is being performed by the Maya aspect, by the Maya principle. So he is Bhutatma, whose Atma is pure. Atma here we can understand as the nature, whose nature is pure, Bhutaha, unaffected and untainted. This is Bhutatma, and also unattached, Asanga, because that is very important. If there is a connection, there is a Sangatvam, then the taint of one entity can pass on to the other entity. So he is Asanga, like the standard examples which are given in the Shastra, like sunlight. The light falls on all good and bad things, but it does not get tainted. The sunlight does not get tainted because either of the impurities there on the things on which it falls, or the smell on which it falls. Putrid smell emanating from some garbage. Sunlight will light that also, but it will not get tainted with that smell. Through the sunlight, the smell will not spread all over the place. So like that sunlight, this Brahman also is untainted, unattached, even though he is blessing everything good and bad that is going on in this entire cosmos. We can take more. Next one is Paramatma, the limitless Paramatma. Okay. Again, Adi Shankara gives the derivation of the word Paramatma. Parascha asau atma cha iti Paramatma. Karmadharya samasa. Karya karana vilakshano nitya shuddha buddha mukta swabhava. A very beautiful definition of what Parameshwara is about. He is the Atma, the self, the inner essence, which is Param. Param means what? Which is Parama, actually, not even Parama. Parama means free from all limitations. That's why it's a limitless. Any object, like a pot or a telephone, even we as an object, our body, mind, sense complex is limited. If you take the example of a pot is limited by its size. Isn't it? There is a certain size for a given shape. So the pot is limited by that size. And size is spatial. It occupies a certain space. So because of the form, it occupies a certain space. A small pot will occupy a small space, a big pot will occupy a bigger space. So the pot exists in space and it occupies a definite place, in the space. And if we look at it, at the overall space which is there, which we experience, when we look at the pot, it has got a very insignificant spatial experience. Compared to the total space, the pot space is very, very insignificant. Time-wise also, the pot is limited. It was born when the potter made the pot. It is now there, occupying some space, but at some stage, the pot will get destroyed. It will end. Like human beings, every being. Pot is only an easy example. which is a very favorite example of Puja Swamiji. So, by taking the pot example, we can bring Puja Swamiji's memories in our mind. And we can invoke his blessings. Every time I take the pot example, and in fact, Puja Swamiji used to keep, near him 3 different sizes of pots. And he will actually demonstrate, pick up a pot and demonstrate. So whenever we use the pot example, what comes to our mind is Puja Swamiji's teaching, and that we consider as a blessing. Okay. So time-wise also limited. So both space-wise, time-wise, every object in this world is limited. There was a time when these objects were not there. There will be a time when these objects will not be there. So, and then object-wise also. Being a pot, it is not a flower or a tree or anything else. It is a pot only. So object-wise also it is limited. So time-wise, space-wise, object-wise, every object in this world is limited. Threefold limitations. Every object, has as its attribute. And Parama means that which is not limited by any object, by time or by space. Because in every object, it is what is there is this Vastu only. This Brahman or this Atma only is there as an inner essence of everything. And that inner essence is not different. There's one inner essence which is pervades everything rather. So as we have seen, effect is nothing but the cause. The cause is Brahman, Paramatma. So from that we can understand that he is Parama Atma. That is why he is limitless. So he does not have any Vastu limitation. That is no object limitation. No limitation in terms of time. No limitation in terms of space, because it's all pervading. Wherever space goes, Paramatma is there. So, as we have seen, time is within this Paramatma, space is within this Paramatma, all these objects are within this Paramatma, and Paramatma, he actually goes beyond, transcends all space, time, and objects. That is why he is Paramatma. Okay. So, again, he is untouched, unaffected by anything. Both the cause and effect of everything in this universe. And being the Adhisthana, the foundation, the basic thing on which the whole universe is created and exists. He is Karya Karana Vilakshana. Truly speaking, we cannot say Brahman is the creator, because the creation is done by Maya. Pure Brahman is actually a very pure existence. Akarta, he can't do anything. Creation requires action. So that's why Adi Shankara says that we have to understand this word Paramatma as referring to that Brahman, because Karya Karana Vilakshanam, he is different from the Karanam, the cause, and also the Karyam. He is called the Karanam only because of the association with Maya, because he cannot do anything without Maya. Maya cannot do anything without him. Him means actually it is just a figure of speech. There is no sex orientation for Brahman. Brahman, it is neutral. It is not a Pullinga word or a Strilinga. It is a Brahman is a Napumsakalinga word in Sanskrit. But then whenever we are referring to, we refer to as he. And this he includes she and it also. Everything we can, otherwise every time I will have to say he, she, it, he, she, it. That can be avoided. By if you understand, everybody understand, he includes she and it. Okay. So then he says he is of the nature of what? Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha. Nitya means eternal. Shuddha, pure. Putatma we have seen. Buddha, all knowledge. Jnanam. Mukta, ever free, totally no attachment to anything. Swabhaha means nature. So, he is ever pure, is of the nature of pure consciousness, pure existence, and he is ever free. So, this is the meaning of this word, Paramatma. Paramatma cha, right? What was that? Utatma Paramatma cha is there. So he is the cha goes with he is Putatma and he is Paramatma. That is the Chakara. Okay, we'll stop here and then we'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all once again.
Namaste Guruji. Namaste.
Namaste,
Thank you,
Guruji.
Mama. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Dhanyavad. See you all next Sunday.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. So I will close the session. Okay. I hope there are no questions or any clarifications nobody requires, right? If there something comes later, note it down. Next class you can ask. Okay. Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.